Hello, everyone. I wanted to actually have this shared with you all because I think very rarely do we talk about what happens in our lives when we have loved ones that the time has come to actually let them have the freedom to choose what their bodies are choosing and not let our emotions get in the way. I worked so many years in the medical field, in the aging field, and now with my wellness business, get to work with a lot of families and individuals that end up dealing with a situation that their family member or loved one's body is just no longer willing to fight and stay. And now is the time to actually give them more peace and allow them to leave with dignity, honor, and whatever it is that their body is asking for. I adopted a dog, which some of you guys know from another video, a few months ago, and I knew adopting him that we really had no idea what his family history was like, his medical history. The shelter really didn't give us a lot of details, and within 24 hours of being with me, we had to go to the vet and really find out and discover more things about him and what was going on in his body. But it didn't scare me. I'm in this field. I work with animals, I work with people, and wellness is just part of who I be. So it really didn't bother me. And we spent a few months actually working with him and his body, and he did really well. He went from, we think he's 11 years old, even though they told us he's 9.5. And it was like almost like he was 5 years old, full of energy, movement in his body that he probably hadn't had for a very long time. He just had a vitality in his body and joy. And, where he didn't have a voice, he actually started barking and didn't like treats and started liking treats and toys and playing with the other two dogs I'd adopted. And just watching him was so beautiful. But I went into conclusion, I went into the conclusion that because we went from where we were to how his body had improved, that that's where we were going to be and that we'd have a long time with him. And I think we do that a lot with family members or loved ones, that we stop being present of what their bodies really need. And we focus more on our own utopian ideal that, you know what, everything's going to be great. Every day is a new day. And every day the body gets to have the choice of waking up, not waking up. And if we're willing to honor it, we can actually celebrate their time with us instead of allowing them to suffer. And in the last couple weeks, beautiful Glory has been sharing with us that it's time to go. And it's interesting because for a few days we thought that's it. We're going to wake up one day and he's just actually going to be gone. And then we worked on him some more, and like his body ended up boosting and he was a little bit better. And still the whole movement, half his body hasn't been able to move very well for a while. And just coming to the realization of how different animals are. They have no point of view, absolutely none. They don't look at life and death the way we do. They do not have emotions. They feed us emotion that we need from them. But in general, animals have no emotions. They're just happy all the time. To them, they're so present with nature, and they have this communion with the earth that the same way a tree falls down in the forest, the earth doesn't say it's a problem. It just means like, okay, so a tree fell down. Now we can plant another tree can evolve. Like the emotions that we have as beings, like it's not the same. And it's been so beautiful to watch Glory and the things he's teaching me and the ways he's showing me things that I would say most of us take for granted and aren't willing to listen to those energies. And, dogs, they bark, but that's not really all the ways they communicate. Subliminally, they talk to you. They have these wonderful ways that you can speak to them with picture in your head, and they speak to you with picture in your head. And, just he's been inviting me to so much possibility, but also the gift of dying and in dignity and in a way that's ease. And I think most of us aren't willing to do that. We would like it to be that it's in a way that we think it's easy for us. And we forget that individual and what it is that would work better for them. And the last 3 days, he's had very little movement in his body and has been bleeding again from his prostate. And just his eyes, you can tell, are altering too. And I had to actually break down and call the vet yesterday. And it was really interesting because, the first thing they wanted to do was do another consult and then come back another time. And I really had to be like, no, like I know what my pet requires right now. We had consult. The consult is not what we require. We actually require to give him peace. And I've got to tell you, you know, many years ago, very many years ago, I realized that I needed to put my will together. I needed to put my medical advance together. I needed to have a burial spot. Like I needed to take care of things that needed to be taken care of instead of waiting for my kids to do that the minute that my body dies. And I realized how many people really had not, when my brother in law, who was at the time 25 years old, was in a mountain biking accident. And I watched the things that he went through and my sister went through while he was in the hospital the first few hours, and realizing that most of us take it for granted. We are not prepared for death. And if you're willing to do it it's not a problem, but being educated and being aware of what does the person require. Like my kids, they know I want to celebrate my life when I die. So I want it to be that they don't have to think. Everything's already planned. My burial spot, the kind of coffin, and all the money's already paid in advance. So they do not have to worry. And, having to even take care of this yesterday with the vet, and, they come and they do that, but they put him to sleep, but they don't transport, they don't cremate. And there's these other pieces that you need to be involved with. And I'm in Portugal. I don't speak Portuguese. So when I called this amazing place called Pet Memorial, the person who answered didn't speak English. I didn't speak Portuguese. So I had to ask a friend to come and really assist. But these are things we have to be willing to also ask for help. I am such an independent person. I'm an executive. I travel around the world. I used to before COVID. And, I have multiple businesses, and I'm used to asking people to contribute and do the things because I can't do it all. But when it comes to me personally, like I'm always looking not to inconvenience others, but what if that's the magic of it also, to what the animals share with us, that there isn't anything that others can't contribute to, if you're willing. And being in Portugal, I really have had to open up my whole world of receiving from others for things that I normally used to be able to do for myself, even going certain places. But here, I've needed the contribution of others. So I'm just wondering, like in this case, it's for me glory, and it's one of my amazing beings in my life, but it can apply to anything in your life. And are you prepared? Are you prepared to actually celebrate and have joy knowing that this person in your life, they had this incredible life, and to allow you to actually have moments to spend with them. You know, with my dad, when he passed away in his sleep. So we didn't get to actually say goodbye. But sometimes we do have that choice, and it's a choice. You have to be willing to do it different for you, whatever's going to work for you. And sometimes, I have to tell you, you have to listen to your own gut instinct, your own awareness, and not just rely on the doctors, not rely just on the vet, because you will know, because you know. And I don't know that I would have understood that like 10 years ago or 20 years ago, but we each have a knowing. We all have moments, our body tells us, that moment when you're like, oh, like that tightness, when you know something is off. And those moments when it's just light and spacious, and that's more of what's true for you. So I just invite us to really look at life differently. What if the purpose we're here is to live and not just go to work, go to sleep, and have a life that just goes on autopilot, but truly enjoy everything and these amazing animals that are part of our lives too. Like, what if they came to teach us stuff? And now they can actually take better care of us, not being here in a physical form. So I just wanted to come and have this conversation because I perceive we don't have this conversation enough. Most people do not have this conversation. So hope it was a contribution to you. And whatever's going on in your life, just know there's people out there that can gift and contribute and aren't going to ask for anything. They're just here to contribute. So if we can ever be a contribution, you can contact us at globalwellnessforall.com/contact. And we have lots of tools. We have lots of free tools and resources. And we also have workshops and events. I also do private sessions. And we have a wealth of therapists and others who are partnering with us and doing things. So just please, just know you're never alone and that you have others who care. So until next time, thank you so much for being here. Very grateful. Bye, guys.